Good night and welcome to 15 Questions. My name is Marcel, and with me tonight is Malika Lewis. Malika, welcome to 15 Questions, and do tell us a little about yourself.
Thank you for having me, Marcel. I appreciate it. My name is Malika. As you have mentioned, I reside in Canada. I have resided in Canada for the past 27 years and originally from Guyana, of course. I came here at the age of 16. And like I said, it's been 27 years, so Canada is now second home. I am a mother to a 17-year-old boy who is my whole heart, and a public servant. I've worked as a public servant for the past 17 to 18 years. And I love what I do. I come from a medium-sized family, very close-knitted family. I love my family. I love where I am right now, the place that I am in my life right now, and just constantly working to be the best version of myself.
Okay, you heard it. You heard it, guys. I welcome you to 15 Questions at the Georgetown Tea House. It's another Monday, and I'm excited. I'm truly excited. So I want to welcome you all. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. For those of you who are on YouTube, drop a comment. Tell us where you're coming to us from. And all our friends, please tell us where you're coming to us from. For our friends and family that will be joining this broadcast, viewing this broadcast, and joining after we would have gone, I want to also welcome you because you're special. All right? You, even though we're gone, you're still putting your comments and liking and loving. And I love it. We love it. All right? So thank you and welcome. Drop us a comment. Tell us where you're coming to us from. Good night, Yonet. I like this. You see? Yonet is saying good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and don't forget to share. All right? Don't forget to share. And with me tonight, as usual, I'm always surrounded by handsome gentlemen, and tonight is no exception. And I have my brothers with me, Tyrone and Uncle Augie. So tell us, Uncle Augie, I start with you. How was the weekend?
The weekend was great. Had a good time. Was time to relax. Last week I got, I believe it was Friday. Yeah, I believe it was Friday. I got bit by a hornet.
Really?
It swole up my face. But praise God, swelling went down. It's not all together, but hey, it led to a very good, relaxing weekend. Mhm.
Beautiful. Tyrone, what about you? What's going on in your neck of the woods? We're not hearing you. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Good evening, everyone. Good to be here again. I had a busy weekend that was blessed. I mean, in everything, there's a blessing that we can derive. But
Definitely.
in spite of the busyness, there's a newness that I've experienced with God. His mercies are new every day, and
There you go.
and so I had a good weekend. Busy but blessed.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Lindsay Vaughn, shouting you out, buddy. You're there every week, and I like it. I love it. Thank you so much. Shondell Grant Stewart and Samantha Douglas and Petal, our girl from Brooklyn and originally from Guyana. We welcome you all. And don't forget to keep sharing the link. Share the link to all your friends and family. Let them know that we're live. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing as well. All right? We love having you. And we want to also see your friends and family. All right? So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
All right. Good evening and welcome to another edition of 15 Questions at the Georgetown Tea House. As one of our viewers, Leslie and Bob, she's saying happy emancipation to all on the program. You know, we would second and third and fourth that. Leslie, thank you so much, and thank you so much for checking in. Gentlemen, are we ready to respond to the our guest this evening?
Blessings, blessings.
All right.
As I can.
Please, as my co-host would say, please remember to like, share, tell a friend, and grab your cup of tea or a glass of juice or, whatever. And we're going to have a ball. All right. Our guest this evening is Malika Lewis. She's coming to us from Canada. So here is Malika.
What would your younger self be sad that you no longer do?
What would my younger self be sad that I no longer do? Probably eating right, I would say. The younger me was very focused on, proper nutrition. And not that the older me isn't, but I've lost my way. Life has a way of kind of leading us off track. The busyness of life and everything that comes with, parenthood and work and everything else. And, the younger me, the slimmer me was eating right and had a heavy focus on nutrition and what I was putting into my body and everything else. I'm trying to find my way back there. So I'm sure the younger me is sad about that, but the older me is motivated by that younger me to get back to that place.
Oh, beautiful. Into all, girl. Into all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Name something you wish you did, but didn't because you were afraid.
Something I wish I did, but I didn't do because I was afraid. As a young girl, I always thought that I was going to grow up to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer. I just always knew I wanted to be a lawyer. And people would say to me, you would make a great lawyer. Your personality, your argumentative kind of thing, and, your boldness. Coming to Canada and learning about student loans and, the cost of going to university and the burden of student loans after graduation. It was not the only deterring factor, but it certainly played a role in me deciding whether or not I wanted to pursue that part of my life. I thought, what is the point of graduating only to be burdened by hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan that, you're constantly going to have to worry about? How do I pay this back? How am I going to manage? How am I going to cope? And, while you're doing that, there's also life going on. You still have to live. And I just didn't want that for myself. When I graduated high school, I had no clue what I really wanted to do. And so I think back that, is that something that I could have pursued and just let life work it out? But I tried not to live.
The aspect.
That's right. But I try not to live my life on a basis of regrets. I think that ultimately everything works out according to God's plan and purpose for my life. And so I don't look back at that as a regret.
Denise, you're trying to be loud on purpose?
All right, that was Malika Lewis. All right. Tyrone, here we have, welcome aboard, Mr. Cleon. Hope all is well at your end.
Good so far.
All right. I see you're doing some movement. So while you get settled, we'll get the conversation started.
No.
Augie, your younger self, is there anything that your younger self would look at you right now and say, man, I wish, ba, ba, ba? Any regrets? Any regrets you think your younger self would have right now?
As soon as she said it, the first thing I reflected on is jumping rope and exercise. I used to do it every single day for at least 15, 20 minutes, sometimes half an hour. I mean, full speed.
Right. Okay.
And I noticed the difference. Yeah. So now I'm going to start getting back into it.
You need
that would be it. Exercising.
but don't do like most of us, going up in our years doing, where we tell ourselves, I'm gonna do this thing, I gotta get back. And it's every day telling yourself, I'm gonna skip tomorrow. No, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, Don't do that. Tyrone, what would your young self look at you and be regretful about? You're muted. You're muted, Tyrone.
Yes, sorry about that. A number of things there, but if I'm to choose one, that would be being able to play cricket almost every Sunday.
Okay.
Or every afternoon you come from work.
Right.
Or you come from school, you just go on the streets of Victoria, and you play cricket with the boys.
Right.
So after school, you play a lot of cricket.
So cricket was a passion.
Yep.
Plus it was exercise, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Cleon, while you were titivating,
I'm trying to make certain that I get enough light because it's so hot out here.
Oh, okay.
Understanding the question, probably what would I've done at my younger self?
Yeah, what would your younger self look at Cleon today and be regretful that you no longer do?
I still do everything that I did when I was young. I don't think I have stopped doing anything that I was not doing when I was young.
Okay, Cleon. Good for you, man. That's good. That's a healthy approach to life. Now, so far, Augie, as you listen to Malika, where in Guyana would you say she's from originally? She lives in Canada now, but where in Guyana would you say she's from?
I gotta tell the truth. We had a heads up on it, so I already know she's from Georgetown.
Oh, you already know she's from Georgetown? All right. Oh, my co-host is giving away all the information. All right. Let me ask you something. See if you could figure out something harder. Tyrone, if you were to ask Malika, you're seated somewhere quietly, and you say, Malika, what are you most yearning for in life? Based on the little that you've heard about her so far, how would you figure Malika would respond?
Peace, quiet, and companionship.
Peace, quiet, and companionship. Interesting. Augie, what would be your guess as to how Malika would answer such a question? As to what is she most yearning for in her life?
It sounds like she'd be yearning for financial freedom, peace of mind, and just relaxation.
Okay.
She's very easygoing.
She seems very easygoing. Cleon, were you able to listen in on Malika as she answered the first two questions?
No, I was not, but I think from the poster I can make my assessment.
All right, make your assessment. Give us an assessment on there.
From what I would have seen of the individual and the ads that were being shared, is that she would probably say, just to know that she's happy with where she is.
Right, okay, all right.
She has found contentment in where she is.
She's found contentment. All right. we're gonna have Malika answer that question. And before we go to the question, Augie, she's not from Georgetown. So we still got you got some wrong news. So she's not from Georgetown. So here's Malika again.
What are you most yearning for in life?
Most yearning for. I think I mentioned briefly at the beginning that I'm good and I'm happy with where I'm at right now in life, and constantly working on improving my life and being getting to the best version of myself. There's always so much room for growth. Currently, as a single woman, I would have to be honest and say to you that love, true love, lasting love, love that is fulfilling and reciprocated the way that I plan on sharing that love with that person that I think is right for me. I would say that is the one aspect of my life where I yearn for love, but yearning in a way that is wholesome. And I'm at a place now in my life where I honestly say, God, it's up to you. There's no desperation. There's no rush. I'm okay with waiting until that person, because I've been down that road and it did not work out the way that I hoped that it would. And so now I feel like it's not up to me necessarily anymore. I leave it to God and I say, it's his plan.
Okay, that was Malika. Tyrone, do you think we men and women, do we define true love differently?
Definitely.
How in what way?
Women express love differently to men. They expect to be loved differently to men, and that's because the way we were made by God. For example, a man would read respect and appreciation as love, but for a woman, it is more than just respect and appreciation. So when you respect a man will read it as love. But from a woman's point of view, it has to be something in something like, let's say, the way you treat her, care, nurture, and showing that you're concerned and that you love. So the way we express love is different.
Okay.
So our love basically different, but they're the same love. We express it and we expect it to be expressed differently.
All right. Augie, look in your immediate environment, your own home. Would you say that your significant other, would she say that, you guys have two distinctly different interpretations of the phrase true love?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Break it down for us.
Well, I mean, there's a reason as to why God says for the husband to love his wife, because it's not the easiest thing for us to do. Women will, and there's also a reason why he says wives submit, because for them, that's not the easiest thing to do. So when we look at the things that I would consider now after 16 years, the things that I know, okay, well, this is love. Now it's more open, where just by the things that I do on a daily basis, I come home, I'm always with the children, I make sure I provide for things in advance. So sometimes the things that I do are not seen right away. You may see it a couple weeks down the road, but then you look and may say, wait a minute, hold on. If you thought that far ahead, that means yes, you definitely love me. So yeah, our expressions are a little bit different. Yes,
they're different.
Mm-hmm.
What about your experience, Cleon? Do we men and women define true love differently?
I would say yes. Because the way how men would express themselves when they find true love, it's totally different from a way a woman would respond. Just like Miss August rightly saying, the way how he would do certain things, a woman may respond in a different way. And I truly agree with him that we really try our best, in my opinion, at times to really love our wives as Christ so loved the church and has given himself as a ransom for it.
Mm-hmm.
But before I got married, any person that I dated, I usually say to them, if you see anything coming, run. Because somebody got to live to tell the tale. But now I can't do that anymore. But in case if it happens, still run.
That's clear for you. All right. You're on to 15 questions at the Georgetown Tea House. And our guest this evening is Malika Lewis.
How did you develop your sense of style?
My sense of style. You know, I take it as a compliment that someone thinks that I have a sense of style. But I think that, sense of style is so personalized. It's whatever makes you comfortable. And so for me, my sense of style is whatever it is that makes me feel comfortable, makes me feel beautiful, makes me feel confident, right? I'm never into the trends and what it is that's going on out there in terms of style and or fashion. Because I think that something could look so beautiful on you, Marcel, and then I put it on and it does not look good on me at all. So I try to stay in my lane in terms of style and do what is most, fitting for me. When I put something on, when I put myself together, if I feel good, if I feel confident, if I feel beautiful, then I'm good. And if I put something on and I don't feel that way, then it's not for me. And it doesn't matter, how much it costs or what brand it is or who else is wearing it. If I don't feel good in it, then it's not for me.
Have you ever given a compliment to someone's style when you felt it was hideous?
I would hope that I haven't, because I try to go by the old counsel of if there's nothing good to say, then you say nothing at all. And if for some reason I feel like, I need to say something, an answer is forced, or I'm just put in a position where I have to, then I'm going to rely on my diplomacy and my tact to, compliment in a way that isn't hurtful, but at the same time, not necessarily saying what isn't true. Put it that way.
Okay.
It's a tough,
all right.
It's a tough
smart
thing,
answer.
right?
That's a very, very good answer. Good, smart answer.
It's a tough thing, because you see some things sometimes and you're like, ooh, but then sometimes you're in that position where someone's like, you like it? You know what? If you really like it, how are you liking it? You like it? Yes, that's great. As long as you like it, doesn't matter what I like.
Okay, I'm going to ask something, and I really would like the ladies in the chat to also respond, to us at this point. Cleon, you have to give advice to a young married man, and he says to you, I love my wife, but them clothes that she just put on, she don't look good, but I don't know how to tell her that she's not looking good. How would you advise that young man, Clear?
My advice would be this. Some things you just have to, I don't want to say take it by the horn, because the woman is not a cow, or a goat, or anything that has a horn. But you can find tactful ways of buying that gift for the person, and say, what do you think about this? Or we do online shopping together, so I can see your response if you're going to be happy about it or not. Or say, you know what, I wanted us to go shopping this week because I really wanted to get you something, and you take the person out shopping. And you are in the store with them, because technically men don't like going shopping with women because they take forever to get anything done. So that again is a way that you can be able to break down the mold and say, you know what, and she will be able to say, wow, he's so caring, he's showing so much interest in what I want. But when we get to the store, it will be a means of me being patient and just say, what do you think about trying this? Or what do you think about this outfit? And then you get the person who's in the store as a consultant to say, yes, this accentuate, you figure this color goes well with you, and all the other things that will help her to just, forget that she is not in 1965.
Okay. Some viewers in the chat, they're essentially saying that, go out and buy clothes for her or go shopping with her. What do you think about that, Tyra?
I've heard it has been said that the best way to break ice or to tell somebody something is over lunch or over dinner, because when people are over food, they express freely and they accept encouragement and corrections willingly. So my suggestion is plan a nice dinner, surprise dinner for her. Buy her something nice, a nice outfit that you know will fit her well, that you know will enhance her appearance in every aspect of the word enhancing. And take her to dinner, and then you have a nice conversation. You compliment her how she looks. Yeah, give her a comment how she looks. And I mean, she looks real gorgeous and fantastic and fabulous. And all the words you can find in the dictionary, just encourage her. And take it from there, because you take her to dinner, you will break the ice. And then you take out pictures, and then you show how beautiful she looks. And take it from there.
So, Augie, you've been invited to, a real good friend, a friend that is, good to both of you, and you guys are heading out to the wedding, and they should put on a shoe. I mean, for whatever reason, you don't like this shoe, right? She like this shoe. Mrs. Liddell like this shoe bad, and you don't like this shoe. Are you the kind of husband who will, suck it in, and once she's feeling okay, you're gonna go to the wedding together, or you're gonna tell her, you gotta take off the shoe? What would you do?
I'm a firm believer, if I'm not in a position to help, I'm not gonna make my suggestion. So when it comes to clothes, shoes, them kind of things, I would get the one that I like and bring it to her and present that offer to her. But I'm going to be very frank with it. Them shoes is not going to put a smile on my face tonight. Wear these, you're going to see how I'm going to look at you. This outfit, if you're dressing for them, wear that. But if you want to look for me, wear this one right here.
Wear the other one.
I'm going to be sharp with the ones that I like. But I'm going to be honest. That way, if she cares, she's not going to put that on again. But I'm going to be very upfront as to why and how, because I expect her for her to do the same to me. So yeah, we've actually experienced that.
Okay, good, cool. All right, you're watching 15 Questions at the Georgetown Tea House. Our guest this evening is Malika Lewis.
If you can add any piece to your closet, what would it be?
there's no room, Marcel. So I have been working so hard over the past year to not add pieces to my closet, to declutter, to get rid of things that have been hanging there and worn once and never worn again. And so I'm trying to do this approach to the minimalist lifestyle, because I realized that we buy and we buy and we buy and we forget what we bought. And you're digging in there and you find something, you come across something that you're like, oh my God, I forgot that I had this. The tags are still on. And I'm like, what am I doing? So my goal for this year was to not add anything to the closet. And already I have failed. So I'm really working hard to not add any pieces. I love accessories. I'm an accessories girl. And so I'm always looking for unique pieces of accessories to add, but I'm really trying not to. I'm trying to stay clear of that. And I think that a huge part of this pandemic taught us that lesson, right? That all of these things that we think we need and things that are so important, but really, did we need it? Because most of us went a full year or more without shopping, without buying these things, and we survived. And even if we did had to go out, we found that we had things that we had never worn before, and it's just been sitting there. And so I think it was just an eye opener. So I'm really trying not to add to my closet.
Cleon, on the previous question, Pastor Bob Semple, he asked, what? Pastor Bob Semple, he asked, what if you buy it, but she doesn't like it and she doesn't wear it? What's wrong with being honest and saying, I don't like that outfit? How would you respond there, Cleon?
My wife just laughed. Because I'm the type of person, if I don't like something, I will tell you. And all my friends can tell you sometimes I'm a bit too blunt. But I've been trying to be a little bit more tactful in how I'm being, sharing my views. But if I buy something for my wife and she doesn't want to wear it, I simply just say, well, if you don't want to wear it, then give it away to somebody else. And that simply means I'm not buying anything else more for you.
No, but
because vice versa, if you buy something for me and you want me to wear it in life, there is something called compromise. So if I can make the room to accommodate your responses or your suggestions, the world doesn't revolve around you alone. So give it to somebody else who may be very much appreciative of it.
Are you not buying anything again?
Not me. Perfect example. I bought my wife a pair of matching sneakers with mine, and she says it's what do you say? It's hurting her foot. But she told me the size. So I said, why not give it away to somebody else instead of having it on the rack? And when I say give it away, it's not because I'm upset that I'm not fully upset because you don't want to wear it. But part of me is upset, but I'll be more satisfied to know that the money that was spent and the thought behind it, you are now taking it and giving it to someone else, which will still make me happy. But having it there and not doing anything with it, no. That's like the devil on the loose.
No, but Cleo, you do know that there's sometimes with some women's feet and men also that 9 may be your size, but with certain styles and with certain types of shoe, you may have to go half side down or a half side up. So they can't punish you for the shoes.
I figured that.
All right, Augie. Looking at our guests so far, who would you say makes her smile the most?
You said who or what?
What would make her smile the most?
Well, she did say it. Mr. Right.
Mr. Right.
She did say
it. What were you, Cleo? Listening to Malika so far, what would you say would make her smile the most?
I will say I was right when I said she was contented with where she was at, even though I haven't, spoke about her that part. But I think, like she rightly said, the right person that will add or enhance her life and take her to the next chapter that she so desires. Because every single human being who is looking for the other half of themselves desires that that person propels them to the next level of the best version of themselves, not to diminish or to degrade them or to make them feel less than, whether it be male or female. So, but most women, as accomplished as they are, they can have 3 PhDs, they still need a good man. Not any man, but a good man.
Some women may beg to differ there, Cleo. Well, we'll see in the chat. Tyrone, what do you think would make our guest smile the most?
I'll have to make it a unanimous something. True love.
True love. All right.
True love makes anybody smile the most.
So let's move on. Let's hear what Malika has to say.
What makes you smile the most?
My son. My son makes me smile the most. He makes me smile. He makes me laugh. He's silly. He's a goof, on my worst day, in my worst mood, even when I'm trying hard not to smile, not to laugh, because, whatever is going on, he'll just do or say the most ridiculous things and cracks me up and flips my mood. And yeah, he's a silly guy. So he makes me smile.
Good. Well, thank God for children here.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yes, I wouldn't have it any other way.
All right. So that was Malika giving us our answer. You're watching 15 Questions at the Georgetown Tea House. And with me this evening, we have Uncle Augie, we have Cleon, we have Tyrone. Folks, please, in the chat, please continue to send your thoughts, your comments, etc. Augie, a young man has approached you and he says, Uncle Augie, I like this girl, and I want to know what a gentleman should say when approaching a young lady. How would you advise that young man, Uncle Augie?
Well, you could start with hello.
From the other side.
Good afternoon. How are you? That's like one of the most simple things. I mean, I guess I'm taking it from a person who is very outgoing, and even in the mornings when my wife and we walk the dog, I say good morning to everybody, whether you're homeless, whether you're strapless, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Everybody. So for conversation, that's easy for me. But yeah, just start with the basics. Don't make it difficult. And then follow on with the responses.
Okay.
I couldn't prepare a speech and you go with that speech and it doesn't work into what's going on. So yeah, start with hello and check the flow.
But Tyrone, growing up as a boy, I don't know where we got these ideas and thoughts from, but you would feel that you had to find a special set of words, to if you're gonna approach a girl, I mean, good morning or hi seems so banal, right? What was your own experience, and how would you advise a young man?
If I were to advise a young man from my experience, honestly speaking, the young man would never approach the girl. because I'm being honest now. Because as a young man, a child growing up, I was afraid of girls.
Okay.
So I would see a young girl, yes, at school, like the young girl and what all the rest of it, and never said anything to her. So based on my experience, I would not advise the young man. But now that I've grown, I've gotten past that. I would say to the young man, use the environment. So if you're at a football match, start a conversation about football.
Okay.
If you're at a cricket match, start a conversation about cricket. So use the environment.
Right.
And move from the environment. As you go from the environment, you go gradually into where you wanted to get to.
Into where you wanted to get to. All right. That's one technique. So, Cleon, how would you have advised a young man like Tyrone who said he was afraid? He said, Mr. Cleon, I'm frightened girls.
That's so big man, you can't be afraid of what you need. First thing, you can't be afraid of what you need. I think as much as everybody's personality is different, you would be able to at least say to the individual. Some people may have different lines, like Uncle Augie said, I can't write a script for you. But if you really do like the person, you can engage them in, wow, that's a really nice top. And if you know the brand of the top, you could say, oh, that's a nice Coco Chanel top you're wearing. Or that's a nice Estee Lauder cologne you're wearing. And then when they ask you, but how do you know that? Well, obviously a man that has fine taste knows what every good woman looking for. And that was my line to my wife when we were at youth camp. Because she was wearing a pair of Jessica Simpson shoes. And I said, those shoes are by Jessica Simpson. And she said, what man knows what type of shoes a woman is wearing? I said, only a man that has fine taste. So therefore, you're not picking up any fenke, as the Jamaicans say, or as you would say, some kasa man. But you're picking up quality.
Quality.
So men also need to know what women are into, what they like, what are some of the things that they would be so excited about, like the new fragrances that are out, the styles that are out that you know that they would want to. You better start doing some Amazon research and be in the know, or you're gonna be left behind.
You're gonna be left behind.
Might jump in there. I mean, just one experience I had, and sometimes it not necessarily have to be any language words. I remember I was in a class sitting at GTI. I was sitting at the back of the class, and they had a chair in the aisle. And there was this beautiful young girl stepping into the class, her face very serious, like she had a tough day. And all I did was to just gently move the chair for her to pass. And from that moment, we became very close friends.
Okay.
So sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to say something, but just observe the environment, the situation, and act accordingly.
A gentlemanly gesture goes a far way.
It goes a very long way. And young ladies these days, they still look for those kind of gentleman behavior.
Okay. I get you. Our guest this evening is Malika Lewis. Please continue to like and share the broadcast, and feel free to, put up your comments.
Do you think gender equality is present in the church? Is it important?
I think it is present to a certain level. I certainly don't think that it is where it needs to be. But I think that over the years, there's been a much more visible presence and a much more sounding voice of women in leadership roles in places of worship in the churches. I think that there's still so much work that is happening in that aspect, where women are working hard to have their voices heard and to be present and to be visible and involved. But I do think that there's a ways to go. There's a long ways to go where that's concerned. And we know that specifically in the church, yes, but there's also so many other aspects where gender equality is such a huge issue, and women are trying hard to remain relevant and show that we are on equal grounds in terms of education and skills and our beliefs and our abilities. So I do think that they've come a long way, but there's a much more ways to go in terms of getting there.
Tyrone, a serious issue, serious question. What's your take? Do you think there is gender equality in the church? You're muted.
Yeah, sorry, ask question of what do we mean by gender equality? However, as it relates to church and gender equality, I am not too sure if the church has gotten to the state or the stage where the male and the female gender, they're being treated equally or in an equitable manner. From my view, when it comes to ministering on God's behalf or representing Christ, there is no male or female, no Greek or Hebrew. Everybody is one. And males and females, they are created equal. And if you go back to Genesis, both male and females were given dominion, not over each other, but over animals, over sea, over nature, and not over each other. So they were given equality in the Garden of Eden. When it comes to equity, that's a different ballgame altogether. But in terms of position in church and so on, I think the church has come a long way in allowing females to become elders and pastors and preachers and so on. They've come a long way. And on that level, I think there is some sort of equality when it comes to that.
Okay. Cleon, given what Christianity fundamentally is and is about, do you think we should have ever had been at a place where, in some places, people are saying, women shouldn't be pastors or women shouldn't be elders. Do you think that should have ever come about, given what Christianity is supposed to be?
I would say yes, and I would say no at the same time. Yes, because those who were in charge at that time were not so probably sure as to where the Church of Jesus Christ was really going. No, for the fact that you don't need to know exactly where the church is going. You just need to know where the Lord is taking his church. Because if he is in control of his church, and I guess most of this came about because of part of the colonizers' way of doing things, where the women sat in the back and the men took the forefront. And so the way Christianity came to the Caribbean was from a colonizer's perspective. And a lot of things that were done over these years were not in keeping with what the word basically says. And I will agree with Tyrone to some extent. I don't think that while we are created equal, we were both given the same authority in terms of when they were in the garden, because the man was responsible for looking after the woman, even though she was there. But it seems as though from since then, the woman decided that she gonna look after the man by giving him the fruit to eat, and he became the dummy and decided to eat the fruit. Probably which would have been one of the reasons why they said, oh, if it happened from beginning and women was trying to control things from then, no, let me put him in the back again. Could be. I don't know.
What's your take on the equality issue, Augie?
I've seen it from both sides. There are, I mean, even in Adventist churches, there are some that still believe that a woman should not be the head. And one church that I was actually in, where it was brought to the pastor, where they said that the women were complaining that they didn't want the elders. They didn't believe in having women as elders. So how can he be against women being elders when Ellen G. White, quote unquote, was a leader? But his answer to that, which I said, okay, all right, he's either well schooled or has a way with words. But his answer to that was that Ellen G. White did a lot of her writings were inspired by God, but when it came to actually bring it forth, it was actually her husband who put it out in the open and gave her, quote unquote, the right to bring the writings out in the open. So, I mean, for me personally, it doesn't really matter to me because I'm not focused on that. If a woman wants to lead, you go ahead and lead. But if I see you going in the wrong way, you're going to be by yourself.
Mm. All right. You're watching 15 Questions at the Georgetown Tea House, and our guest this evening is Malika Lewis.
What does the church teach that you have struggled to honor? It could be a vice or a spiritual disconnect.
Ooh, on the spot and touchy for me. I think that there's so much that the church teaches that I think I speak for myself, but I think other people will agree that could be confusing, could be inconsistent. You know, if I'm to be honest, I'm not a regular church goer. I'm not in church every Sunday and in the middle of the week and on the weekends. One of the things I would say that I've struggled with for a long time, and I'm sure people are going to come for me, is this teaching of tithing, right? I understand and I can respect the importance of tithing. And I'm never going to tell someone how or why or when or how much they should tithe. But in terms of my personal struggle, I just find it hard to understand that the church puts so much emphasis on and importance on tithing. And yet there are men of God, women of God that are living these lavish lifestyles that leaves room for questioning how or why are they affording these lifestyles when the ordinary churchgoer, church member, is struggling to put food on the table, to keep a roof over their head, to feed their families, unemployed, you know, just faced with so many issues. And I know people say, well, you give and you don't worry about what they do with what you give.
Yes.
But there has to be some level of accountability and transparency if you are to expect people to give and to continue giving without people questioning what is going on? How is it that I can give my tithe, and yet, if and when I'm in a jam, I can't go to the church for help? And I know that based on situations that I have been told of. And of course, I'm not speaking of every church. We're speaking very generally.
The sticky issue, I mean, this is a big subject, might be a subject for an entire broadcast, but let's deal with it briefly. Tyrone, do you agree or disagree with what Malika was saying with regard to title?
I did not hear everything she said, but the little that I've heard, there is some level of truth in it. And I always remember, as an Adventist, one of the passages they read for tithe is Deuteronomy, I think it's chapter 14. But they stop at the part that says, "You shall tithe all your increase." But when I went back and I checked and I read the entire chapter, it said this, that I think it's every 3 year, I think, you take your tithe, all of it. If it's too much to carry, change it to money, buy whatever your soul desire, open your gate wide, and invite the strangers. So there was a time when God said to the children of Israel, take your tithe, you buy what you desire, and invite persons. Now, I have never heard that passage being read from the pulpit. That's one. The second thing, when it comes to tithing, there are a lot of areas in the tithing system in the Old Testament that you don't hear, you cannot apply. For example, just this morning I read Leviticus when it said that if the Israelites, if they had sheep and they had to tithe their sheep, the sheep would pass under the rod, and every tenth sheep will be tithed. Whether the sheep is good or it is bad, it is tithed. The 10th sheep is tithed. So the question I ask myself, if somebody has 5 sheep, then the person doesn't pay a tithe on the sheep if every 10th sheep that pass is tithed. So there are a lot of stuff in the tithing system that a lot of Christians are not clear about. But from my perspective, and I've never said this before, I'm going to say it now. I believe that we should support the gospel. I believe we should support the gospel. I believe Christians should get to the place where if God says to them, give 100%, they're willing to give it and not just stop at 10%. If you want to trade 10% and call it tithe, that's fine. But from what I've studied so far in tithing, I don't believe that God is requesting us today in this time to tithe. We support the gospel. We give as the Spirit leads. And Paul said this here. Paul says, look, every man must give as he purposed in his heart. So must he give. And finally, when I studied this story of the woman with the mite, when Christ said to her, Christ said that she threw more than those who threw the 10% or whatever it is. Because they were giving according to the law, but she was giving according to love for God. So whatever we give, it must supersede just giving according to law. And that's why for a lot of Christians, when they give 10%, that's it. You don't get anything else from them. I've given my 10% and I've honored the law of God. But God expects us to give from a heart that is filled with love. So are we saying, and I asked my brother this question, if somebody comes and gives the church 30,000 US, he's not tithe. He just gives it. He doesn't pay a tithe, but he gives the church 30,000 US. Are you saying that God will not honor that man's offering? And so I believe that we support the gospel as much as we can financially, whatever it is, whatever we have, we should support the gospel. But in terms of commanding and tithing, it has gone so far that I remember going to church. You could not get the position in church if you didn't pay tithe. which is totally unscriptural. It's not biblical for you to tell somebody you can't get position in church because you didn't tithe. And those are the things that I have problems with.
Cleon, what's your take on the tithing issue?
I do believe it hasn't been made clear for all and sundry. And this has not only to do with those who are probably Adventists or New Testament, whichever denomination. You always will have people within Christianity that have um, very, very genuine concerns about tithing. But for me, I do believe that I look at it like the Lions Club or one of those organizations, and somebody will say, why would you want to even compare the church to something like those NGOs? If you're part of the Lions or you're part of any of those organizations, you have dues that you pay, and you have to, go out of your way sometimes. I believe that's why probably I'm not a part of any of those things to be in the inn. But where the church is concerned, I don't think that we should mandate people to give to God, but more rather find a way how we can be able to show them from Scripture what He requires of them. Because I always try to understand when Jesus mentioned, yes, the other people give out of their abundance. And I always say to people, if I'm giving out of the abundance that I have, is it really affecting me? No, it's not doing anything to me. I really haven't given. But when it is out of a genuine heart, you tend to see how it goes a different way. Even looking at the example with the fish and the bread that fed the 5,000, they probably could have gone somewhere to buy food, but the notion behind of I have this and it's available for your use. So for me, I'm not going to be persuaded by anybody, whether you're in church or out of church, to tell me that I have to and I must. And if I don't, I can't get a position. That's fine. My name already written on my birth certificate. That's enough position in life.
Augie, what's your take on, or do you agree with Cleon and much of what Tyrone had to say?
I have a different take on it. I mean, I agree both have valuable points, but I know that it took a long time for them to even get me to get up on the pulpit and do a tithes and offering. And then when I finally did, they've invited me back again. So the key thing that I say is that God's plan, you'll find it like none other. There's no part that I have read personally in the Bible where it says, bring your cash to the storehouse. Your tithe. The way I broke it down is that what you feel that God has given you. So if you feel God has given you $100, you couldn't have made that $100 without God. 1/10 of the $100. He's never asking you to bring a portion of what he didn't give you. So whatever you feel he has blessed you with, this week he could have blessed you with money. Next week he could be blessing you with time. However you feel that's the relationship between you and God. 1/10 of what you feel he has given you. And once you return, not giving, you are returning 1/10 of what he's given you. Once you've returned that 1/10 and you see that he's increased it and he continues to do that, your heart opens up and you say, you know something? I'm gonna test you. I'm gonna give you more than the 10%. and he increases it even more because it's coming from the heart. So it's continual, and it's the only plan that you will ever see financially where they say, I'm going to, if somebody said to you today, I'm going to give you $1 million and you just have to give me back 100,000. You'll never find a financial plan like that. So it's a portion of what he has given you that you are returning. You never pay tithes. You always return. That's scriptural. Don't ask me where it is. You'll find it.
All right.
This
This is a topic for one of our Georgetown Tea House evenings. So it's something we'll deal with. You're watching 15 Questions at the Georgetown Tea House, and our special guest is Miss Malika Lewis.
Easy. What is your love language?
Ooh, my love language. Action, right? Like I don't want the words. I don't want the I love you, I love you, I love you. I need flowers for no reason. It doesn't have to be a special occasion. I love cards for no reason. Again, I just need consistency in your actions. Because I think with that consistency, there's no room for me to question your sincerity and the genuineness of what it is that we are sharing or experiencing. So it's the little things for me. It's never, a cost attached. It's never publicity, but it's the little things and how sincere you are.
Yeah.
Love languages. Is it something that is discussed in your home, Augie?
If my wife wasn't busy, I would tell her come down and answer that. We don't do love languages.
Y'all don't do love languages.
No. I just believe personally, my goal is to love her more than she loves me. And her goal is to love me more than to do the same.
And to do the same.
Yeah. That's way. Yeah. Try to outlove me.
Okay. So, Cleon, are you into the? Augie say he's not into this love language thing. What about you?
I can say my wife top is affirmation. She likes to be complimented and to be told you're doing a good job, but the gifts and stuff not really a big thing for her. But like all women, they will say it's not a big thing for them, but if you don't get it, it is a big thing. So just be smart, give the affirmation and still have the gift on the side. So that would be it for me where that is concerned. She's not a big person on presence, but if you don't, it's a problem.
It's a problem.
Because you can't tell me I'm doing nice and you don't present anything nice. It don't make sense.
Right. So Tyrone, based on what Cleon is saying, sometimes there's a special code with which we have to speak when we're speaking to women.
Definitely. And the code needs to be on point, on target.
Got to be on point and target.
Yeah, because if it's not, then that can be a very uncomfortable situation. That's putting it mildly.
Right.
Very uncomfortable situation. So give your affirmation and the gift after.
And the gift after. So, Cleon, based on your own life's experiences, how can you tell when a woman says, "I do not want that," that what she's actually saying, yes, you better bring that?
Like I rightly said just now, I don't like gifts, but I love gifts. So that's a code that they use that men need to learn very early. The things that they say they don't like is what they love.
Is what they
And
love.
things that they allegedly like, they absolutely hate it.
Words of wisdom from Brother Cleon, folks. What they say they like, they don't like. All right, and vice versa. We're listening to Malika Lewis, and this is 15 Questions at the Georgetown Tea House.
Can you recall a school days infatuation and why you felt you were in love with that person?
Oh my God. School days. You're taking me all the way back, Marcel.
Yes, I am.
Seems like a lifetime ago. I feel old now.
We all are.
I had a high school crush. You know, I went to high school in Guyana for 2 years. And I remember my high school crush. And, you know, thanks to Facebook, it was like, oh my gosh, that's him. We reconnected on Facebook. But of course, our lives were in different direction. I don't know why necessarily I was in love with that person, or even if it was love, it was just a feeling of comfortableness where, you know, we could talk and laugh, and I never felt like he looked at me differently. You know, in high school, you had the guys that you just didn't want to notice you for whatever reason. They were either too popular or too loud, too out there, and it was like, oh no, you know, don't even look at me. This person was just down to earth and cool and easy to talk to, and you know, and still is that way. So.
And whenever you saw him, your heart would flutter.
We just, yes,
It skipped a beat.
It's like, oh, that's him. Yeah, you know, you'd go out of your way to pass him in the corridor, kind of thing. Yeah.
Do you have what we Guyanese call a sweet hand?
Oh gosh. No, I don't. I wouldn't say I have a sweet hand. I know, and this is in terms of cooking, right?
Yes, it is.
I know how to cook, Marcel. I cook. I do not love to cook. Okay? I cook because I have to cook. I don't cook because I am passionate about cooking and, you know, I get all creative with recipes and I can be in the kitchen all day. And that is not me. My sister, on the other hand, has a very sweet hand. She loves to cook. She's passionate about cooking. She loves to entertain and have people over because she's cooked, you know, 7 or 8 different things for Sunday dinner. That's not me. No, I'll cook one thing and I'll be very happy to be done cooking. Yes.
But when you're finished, the taste is like really, really good, or
oh yes, absolutely. I make sure that whatever I'm preparing, it's well prepared, it's well done. You know, there's a couple of things that my family will ask me to make over and over again because, you know, I make it really good. I do a really good macaroni and cheese. I make a really good lasagna. Yes.
Pasta girl. You got the pasta down pat.
I have the pasta down pat. And I can cook Guyanese meals. Just don't ask me to do roti and dal puri, and that's too much work. My mom does it, not me.
Cleon is a sweet hand an asset in today's world?
Not when there's fast food.
Not when.
I'm being genuine. It's not when there's fast food.
Okay. So, would you say then that the McDonald's, the Arby's, etc., based on your own palate, that the food tastes better than we would cook at home?
McDonald's doesn't like me because they don't get much of my money at all. Unless we go to Six Flags or something like that, they really don't get much. I mean, any woman can go to McDonald's and purchase a meal and bring it. Any woman. So if you want to be different from the other women, you better be ready to make my dal, my roti, my curry the way I want it. That's what it separates. The way you flavor it, you're putting love into that food.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta take time and put pleasure. I gotta see you.
You got to feel the love in the spoon.
Yes, yeah. That will make me go and get that gift.
So in your case, Tyrone, her sweetheart would got to include the ability to make fall duff, right?
Exactly.
All right.
If she can't make that, I'll teach her how to make it.
Explain to Cleon. I don't think Cleon was on the broadcast when you talk about this fall duff. Tell Cleon about this fall duff.
I was saying on the broadcast that I prefer fall duff than the good one, than the nice fluffy one.
Do you mean the ones that kind of is so solid and stiff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
Well, then that person didn't know to cook. And the honest at all.
Not necessarily. Sometimes you just slip in at the back and you just open the pot a bit without them knowing.
I don't really believe that that theory that Guyanese would have been saying over the years, if you open the pot before the duff, it will fall, because I've done it several times and my duff ain't even drop.
It will fall, right?
So if you haven't had the right raising agent in, if you don't have the right raising agent and you don't know what you're doing, don't blame it at the end of the day because you open the pot, because you still have to open the pot at some point in time.
I disagree. So how would you explain some being good and some fall? How do you explain that?
Because the person don't know to
mixture,
cook.
the same though.
I say, they may know to cook. You can't be making duff and your duff falling.
You're duff falling, right?
No, but that which we may call fall duff is the way Trinidadians would make it, Grenadians would make it,
yeah, St. Lucians too,
Jamaicans would make it, but they make it, it's like just water and flour and it is kneaded hard.
Yes.
It's not my cup of tea.
I remember when I came to St. Lucia once, I went on it with a group of church people on a cookout, and I decided to make dumpling Guyanese way, and they laughed at me. They couldn't eat one dumpling. They laughed at me because the way they make it, they make it is totally different to the way Guyanese do it. So,
and it's very hard.
Tastes good. The way they do it tastes good, especially the dumpling and cocoa tea. It tastes very good.
My wife would tell you, you give me a fluffy dumpling that is a sponge. I'm not doing that. It got to be, when I chew, it got to stick to my teeth. It's intentional. There's a skill in it. As a matter of fact, maybe when this whole thing we leave, we need to have a cook-off and see what happens.
A cook-off.
Yeah, we're gonna have a cook-off.
Uncle Augie, your wife is not Guyanese.
She's born, risen in Guyana, and still is.
She probably lined with some other nationality a little bit too long while she Augie. You know,
no, buddy.
Your duff just needs to be fluffy.
She got to cook it the way her husband like it. That's it. What you do on your personal time, enjoy yourself. But for me to eat it,
okay, well, you guys enjoy chewing longer. I'm trying to save my teeth for old age.
All right, you're looking at 15 questions at the Georgetown Tea House with our special guest, Malika Lewis.
What would you do when you're finding it hard to sleep?
I love music, and I find music to be very soothing for me. I love all kinds of music. So if for some reason I'm not able to sleep, I turn on some music that I know will soothe me, will relax me. And that usually does the trick. I also, as a result of this pandemic, one of the things that my workplace started daily was daily meditation for 15 minutes.
Okay.
We would get on Teams and do meditation for 15 minutes. And prior to that, I know about meditation, but never really was involved in it. And so I found a couple of apps that I can connect onto my phone or onto Alexa and just kind of meditate to a point where it relaxes me and I can forget about whatever it is that may be weighing me down. And, but usually music is my go-to to relax.
What are your thoughts on a couple dressing alike whenever they're heading out? Would you define that as cute or corny?
Marcel, to each his own. To each his own. If that is what makes them happy and comfortable, so be it. Personally, it wouldn't be my thing. But your viewers could probably say, of course, says the single woman. What does she know about couples and dressing alike? So I'm gonna tread very lightly on that. But it's just not my thing. I wouldn't want to. Maybe if it's a specific occasion where for whatever reason we have to dress alike. I don't know. Okay, but is it a regular thing? No, that would not be my thing. I think when couples go to certain extremes, it leaves room for questions more than anything else. It's like, why do you have to be so extra? Like, if I know you're a couple, you're a couple. We see you. Your union speaks for itself, so to speak. You don't need to dress alike or make public statements to say we're a couple.
Okay, I got you.
You speak for yourself. Your union speaks for itself. That's just my thing, though. Again, disclaimer, says the single woman, so I'm going to just tread lightly on that one.
Listen, guys. Malika is treading softly because she don't want you guys coming for her. You see, she was on the program last week, so she's treading softly. She's kind of being,
All right. How you guys are doing? Listen, y'all had me cracking up on the other screen. And Cleon, unlike Uncle Augie and Tyrone, I am with you. I ain't want no Faldo. Listen, no Faldo for me. All right then, that's it. That's gospel. Back to Malika. Malika's question about what she do to relax when she find it hard to sleep. All right. What do you guys do? Tyrone, what do you do?
I have a good friend that used to call me sleepless at 2 a.m.
Oh, wow.
And most times I would just allow my mind to run. My mind would just go on and on and on and on and on. On and on and on. Until it gets tired. And then I fall asleep. By then, it might be 3:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And then I try something else. I start reading. And as soon as I start reading, that's it.
Okay. Oh, reading will actually put you off.
Yeah.
Put you to sleep. Yeah. Okay. Well, what about you, Cleon? What do you do to relax when you're trying to sleep? Sorry.
I try to sleep. I probably just listen music or I would write. But when I recognize that it's a bit too much, I say to myself, like a kill cat or what, as Guyanese people say, and then I remind myself that the Lord said he will give the beloved sweet sleep. So I say, Lord, I'm one of yours. I need to go to sleep. I don't want to be one of the wicked people. So I will shut my eyes, just turn off the light and go down. But music is one of my go-to things that I would listen to, or I begin to write. If writing doesn't work, then I just go and cook something.
Okay.
Go find something and make a new recipe.
Right. Like kill cat, you're beginning to wonder if God delivers good sleep. You're trying to think that you're not one of his children. Something went wrong. You think he did something to offend him?
So I said, You said you will give the beloved sweet sleep. This need to go.
Okay.
Uncle Augie.
On to business. I'll get up and just find something to do. On to business. I'll pick up the laptop and go and do work that I should have been doing already and just knock it out.
Okay. Um, Whenever I can't sleep, because you see, for some of us who work night, like the nurses and people like me in hospitality and the kind of thing, when we're accustomed to working nights, and you're just always on the ball. Even if you got a day off or a night off, you still can't sleep. You know, I've been off even in the pandemic, and I cannot sleep early at all. To the point where sometimes I gotta pop. I gotta actually pop some night something to sleep. You know, or sometimes watch TV. You know.
Not me.
Yeah.
I won't sleep during the day, but when it's night, I usually tell myself, "You're not a security guard. Go to bed."
Go to bed. There you go. And Uncle Augie, do you dress alike with Denise? Do you you're talking about dressing alike? Is there more love when you dress alike?
Okay. I'm gonna quote this one the exact
Do you
way I
think
say
it's
it all the
cute or
time.
corny?
My daddy never made no twins. So when we dress, we can complement each other. But there's no way you are gonna get me to dress in the same outfit as my wife. That's not
Okay.
happening.
Okay. What about your red shirt? With your red shirt with your khaki suit and orange or red dress?
No, we can do complementing. This is too much red. We can do complementing colors. Maybe you can find one of the colors in the tie.
What are your thoughts,
Yeah.
Tyrone?
Um, as Malika said, to each his own. The thing is, I think there's one. I would suggest one word that's missing from the question:
Okay.
cute, corny, or cover up. Who knows?
Oh my God.
And I've gotten to the stage where I stopped looking at externals
Okay.
to determine what's happening, because the externals can really throw us off or mislead us. And so when I see couples dressed alike all the time, I just give them the benefit of the doubt. If that's the way they
Mm,
like it, fine, just go ahead and do it. But I'm not going to say, you know what, they should not dress this. No, no, no. You
right,
go about your
right, right.
business. I'm not going to comment on that. Leave it alone.
All right. Well, Cleon, now I know Cleon is a dress man. You see Cleon talking about the different the fancy brands and thing, Jessica this and thing. His wife in a Jessica dress and he a Jessica Simpson shirt, you know, the kind of thing. Maybe maybe brands. Cleon, what's your thoughts?
Even though I mentioned those brands, I am someone who loves clothing, but I'm not going to always go spend a whole lot of money on fashion. A good shoes, a good shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and I good to go. But we will not always say, "Oh, we dress alike." Like in some people will be, "Oh, you're wearing a blue stocking, so I wear blue socks. You wear brown shoes, I wear brown shoes." No, there are people who crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got no time for that.
Mm-hmm.
As Uncle Augie said, what we wear must be able to complement each other, because there are times when my wife would want to wear something and I don't think I would want to be found at any point in time in anything looking like that.
Okay.
It looks nice on them. Why hell no? That won't be me, because my wife loves lace, and I think lace is just like 1965 fashion style, but she just said fire. But it's because of the I won't want to say colonizers culture, but that's our house joke. That's just a British thing. British women love a lot of lace, and they find it fancy and elegant. But for me, how you gonna get me as a man to wear a lace shirt? I'm not a stripper. That won't work. Won't work.
Okay. All right. So we're on to you're tuned in to 15 questions, and we're down to our 15th and final question for from Malika. So just throw back and put your comments after her.
Should girlfriends take a girls trip at least once a year?
Oh gosh, yes. Yes. Absolutely. It is necessary. It is healthy. It is refreshing and rejuvenating. And it's just so good. I love to travel. And, I try to travel once a year at least. And so the past year has been difficult because I haven't been able to go anywhere.
Oh, yes, we all are.
But before the pandemic, if no other time of the year, I would go away every year. My birthday's in February, and February is probably the coldest month in Canada. And I just want to go away to somewhere warm, sand and sun and beaches, and I'm gone. And I have a girlfriend that would say, "You go away every year," and I'm like, "Listen, you can join me. Let's go." And so in 2019,
Right.
she decided to join me, and we went to Tobago for the first time. Just her and I and another girlfriend that lives in Trinidad. We went to Tobago, and we had an amazing time. And she said, I see now why you go away every year. Because, you come back and you're rejuvenated and you're re-energized, and it's just so good. So I think that it's so important to just kind of get away and, leave the kids behind. It's okay. Leave your husbands behind. Yes. I'm not going to thread lightly on this one, Marcel, as the single woman. Leave your husbands behind. He's going to survive. He'll be okay.
Yes.
You're going to come back, and he's going to have a better wife for it. He's going to have a better partner for it. Because it just does so much good for you mentally and physically and emotionally, just to decompress and just relax and let go of everything that you've kind of been carrying. And life gets heavy, and every day we're running around doing this and doing that, and you don't realize the toll that it can take on you mentally and emotionally and physically, And whether it's a week or 5 days or 4 days, you get away and you just relax and you indulge in yourself and you pamper yourself and you spend quality time with your girlfriends and with yourself. And it's just so good. And you should feel absolutely no type of guilt or shame about it. I remember going away when my son was much younger, and people would say, "How can you leave him? He's so young." And thankfully, I never allowed that to get to me, because I knew as an individual and as a mother how hard I was working and the sacrifices that I was making. And I wasn't going to allow anyone to make me feel bad for wanting to take a break. It's okay to take a break. And I gave myself full permission to do just that.
You just need to just exhale.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Thank you so very much, Malika.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Thanks for having me, Marcel.
Thank
it's
you
been
so much.
a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Look forward to continuing on following you along this journey. It's been great. Thank you.
Yes, the need to just up and go. So Augie got to make your own dumpling. What's his name? Tyrone don't mind. He don't mind having to go in the kitchen and burn his finger. And Cleon certainly gonna miss his wife. She can go with your lace and go with the girls, and he's gonna be just fine.
Which girls?
The girls' trip. When she want to go on her girls' trip.
You do that when you're single.
Well, okay. Well, all right, go ahead, Cleon.
Girls' trip is for single women. The person that you were speaking to was a single. If you're
Oh
gonna
my.
go on a girl, if you and I'm going to say I'm very very serious. If you're gonna go on a girls trip as a married woman, it should be in consultation with your husband being okay with it. Because most times what single Christian women discuss is not always in confines of what other married women would be discussing. Let's be real. When you're single and you go
Hmm.
out, you'll be talking about, oh, think about this guy and how we're gonna think about planning for to move on and whatever it is. But as a married person, they'll be talking about how are we going to better our husbands, how are we going to better our marriages, and what are the things that we can talk about that will help us to grow in our marriages. Single women have time to talk about that. So a married woman going on a singles women trip is either she going to talk to them about how they could plan for getting married. But no, you don't need to be on that. That's why you got married. Because you don't
No,
want to be single anymore.
no, come on, ladies, come on. Shut Cleon up. Shut
Shut
him
me
up
up.
right now. Because I going on a
The
girl's
Bible
trip.
says, he that finds a wife finds a good thing. And you need to leave and cleave. You can't have the same set of people. Them.
It says
Uncle
he who
Augie,
finds
Uncle
a
Augie,
wife.
this is for you. Uncle
Mhm.
Augie, deal
Yes,
with
sir.
Cleon, please.
I concur.
Oh wow. this is this is too much. This is
Anyhow,
hot.
Now, listen,
anyhow.
I keep it simple. You will
Time.
never
Okay, time.
catch
Okay,
me.
time.
You will never
No
catch
less, no
me
trip.
going on a trip with a bunch of men. That's not happening. I don't do
Right.
men's night out
Mhm.
because honestly, if you have something sweeter than what she got, let me know. But no, 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 no. When I go on vacation with my family, my wife will tell you it's the best thing you're going to have because I make sure I keep everything in order. All right, we're going here, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing that, we do that.
But I'm tired. I'm tired of you. I love you, but I'm tired of you. I want to be with my girls. I want to talk girls. And the thing is, yes, I am married, but I want to. And even if I'm going with my single friends, I'm going to still talk about love and relationships. Help you with yours. We talk about mine, and we just have a good time. And sometimes, listen, man, and we don't even talking about y'all. As a matter of fact, when we go to have fun, we just don't. We left everything behind. Here, man, we come to exhale. Oh, this is too much. Tyrone, he got his hand up, but I
Ah,
talking to you first. Tyrone, let me hear
Go
what's
ahead,
your story.
Tyrone.
now let me just see how I can find a balance here.
All right then.
Are you being
Uh,
pressured?
no, I'm not being pressured. I'm not being pressured. Let's see if I can find a balance. I believe in freedom, honesty, and genuineness. That's one. Secondly, if the girls' trip would include things like what you see on television with the girls' trip, that's a no. Because what they advertise or what you see in movies or what happens in the girls' trip, then that's a no for me. But however, as Cleon said, from a Christian perspective, if there can be some advantages in terms of sharing experiences to help each other grow as a human being or to improve marriages and so on, then I can see where that is going. As somebody said, you go on a marriage girls trip. I always ask myself the question, what do these ladies talk about? Or what do they do on a girls' night out, on a girls' trip? And it's a question that I've never gotten
Talk about love relationships.
reasonable answers for. It can be beneficial because one of the girls might be going through a terrible time in a relationship, in a marriage. And there you have persons on the girls' night trip, on the girls' trip, that might be able to share some comments, some experiences that will help her to navigate through a marriage. That
But
can
it's
work. But
but it's
then
not only negative things, it's not only advice. Anyway,
yeah,
go
but
ahead.
there's a flip side of it now. When the girls begin to go down a certain road, because what you see on movie is leave that man, he's not good. Time to move on to the next one. And you hear things like to get over one, you have to get under one. I mean, if these are the things that you will hear on a girl
But these are the
trip,
kind of women that y'all got. But come on, man, y'all making no. These are y'all have good women. Don't forget y'all got good women.
one bad apple
But hold on.
can spoil the entire barrel, you know.
Listen, this is a whole conversation by itself. That no, because we going over time, and I'm telling you, go on, Cleon.
Like I said, this has nothing to do with control. This has nothing to do with trying to manipulate anybody or affect anyone's mental health wherever they're thinking, and all of these questions that I'm seeing popping up on the screen. But you have to understand, when you were single, Paul said, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I did all the childish things. Now you want to become woman. You want to become a little girl again? You're out of order with yourself. There's nothing wrong with going on the trip. But you can't say that you have to go on a trip with a set of single women in order, as a married woman, to feel as though you're reconnecting with yourself.
I have all kinds of friends, single friends, married friends, and if I want to go, I gotta go.
And like I said, it should be in consultation with your spouse.
The only thing is in consultation. The only thing you're consulting about is to let him know let him know the dates. Come on now. Anyway, we got to.
If I may interject here quickly, Martha, if I may interject here quickly, but personally speaking, that's how I believe in freedom. I don't think there's an issue with it. For me personally, I don't have an issue with it, and I'll tell you why quickly. Because you know the person that you're married to, and you know the level of intelligence, the level of commitment to the marriage.
Allegedly.
that
Bible says, trust no man, for the arm of flesh shall surely fail. But who put their trust in the Lord?
All that you're saying, Kieran, but what I'm saying is trust. And I think that woman should have that freedom. Yes, if in consultation, if I don't like it, I will let you know. But I'm not gonna force you not to go.
Okay.
I'll just tell you, okay, I'm not too comfortable with this, but you can still make a decision. It's up to you. But for me, personally, I'm comfortable with it until I see other things showing up.
Okay. Well, on this note, we're gonna close on this note. We're married. You guys are married to good women. So if they want to go, they want to go. They want to exhale, they want to exhale. They want to talk about shoes and bags, and they want to talk about sex and love, and they want to talk about a variety of things, right? You want to talk about you guys too. So let's give us some space. We just started. Anyway, thank you. You've been watching 15 Questions at the Georgetown Tea House. Now number 15 is a hot one. We had a lot of really, really good questions in between that has to go to the full house in terms of tea house, in terms of having an entire hour and a half to really dissect, and to dig into it. And this here, interesting, very interesting. I'm taking notes. Thank you so much, guys, in the chat. Thank you so much, Uncle Augie, Cleon, Tyrone. You guys been great. I have so many responses. I know we can't get through it. Malika. You've been so great. Thank you so much for even being vulnerable on the issue of tithing and the likes. We thank you. We heard you, and we just was happy that you chose to answer our questions. So bye for now, and see you on Monday, guys. See you on Monday. All right. I know there's a lot. I'll go through all the comments, and I'll put my little notes at the bottom. And guys, I encourage you to do the same. And Cleon and Tyrone and Uncle Augie, please respond to our friends in the chat. All right. They're saying a lot of things. So please, I implore you to respond to them.
And a lot of it is their interpretation.
Listen, I want you guys to go in and respond to them. All right. We love you guys. Thank you as always for joining us week after week. We really appreciate you and really love you. Continue to bring your friends. If you're on the YouTube link, kindly like our the YouTube link, the YouTube page, and hit the subscription button. And don't forget, like Leon says, the notification bell so that you know when we are live. All right. So thank you so very much. We love you. We love you. We love you. Yes, Tyrone?
Leon, there are times when certain things you don't give energy to, so we don't need to respond.
Just please respond.
No.
Respond.
You see, when there is meaningful conversation, it is
Good night,
always
guys.
good to have the dialogue continuous.
Good night.